Fleet Admiral Jessica Martinez stood motionless before the curved viewport of Station Dark Winter's command center, her weathered features illuminated by Neptune's ethereal blue glow. 25 years of preparation had led to this moment. The massive gas giant storms raged silently beyond the reinforced transparent steel, providing perfect cover for humanity's most sophisticated military installation. Hidden in plain sight, under the guise of a primitive atmospheric research station. Contact confirmed, Admiral. 5 hegemony vessels entering the outer defense grid. Lieutenant Rodriguez's voice was steady, betraying none of the tension that filled the command center. Signature patterns match intelligence reports from the Proxima Deep Space Array. Martinez nodded, her silver-streaked hair caught in the soft glow of holographic displays. Classification: 3 Dominance-class battlecruisers, 2 subjugator support vessels. Rodriguez paused, checking his readings. They're maintaining standard conquest formation, just as our simulations predicted. The Admiral allowed herself a small smile. The aliens were following their playbook to the letter, just as they had on a dozen other worlds. Their arrogance would be their undoing. Dr. Anderson, Martinez called out, turning to face the quantum communications hub. Show me what you can do. Mike Anderson's fingers danced across his haptic interface, his team of cryptologists working in perfect synchronization. The large central display filled with cascading streams of alien data, transmissions the hegemony believed to be unbreakable. Running quantum parallel processing now, Anderson reported, his eyes never leaving his work. Their encryption is based on a 64th dimensional matrix. Advanced, but he grinned as the alien symbols began transforming into readable text. Not advanced enough. Martinez checked her chronometer. Time to decrypt. 2 hours, 47 minutes, Mom. Anderson's pride was evident. We're ahead of schedule. The Admiral moved to the central tactical display, where a 3-dimensional representation of the solar system showed the hegemony fleet's approach vector. Hundreds of seemingly innocent satellites, research stations, and mining platforms dotted the space around Neptune. Each one was a carefully crafted lie, housing weapons and technologies that humanity had kept hidden for decades. Time to intercept, Martinez asked. At their current velocity, they'll reach optimal engagement range in 6 hours, the tactical officer reported. They're scanning our decoy installations now, reading standard electromagnetic and quantum probe patterns. Martinez activated her neural link, connecting directly to Station Dark Winter's command network. Data flooded her enhanced consciousness. Fleet standings, weapon readiness, personnel status, everything needed to spring humanity's trap. Send the sleeping giant signal, she ordered. Throughout the solar system, hidden commanders would be receiving their activation codes, preparing their forces while maintaining their carefully crafted facade of primitive technology. Signal sent, encryption protocols holding. Rodriguez confirmed. All stations acknowledge. The Lazarus protocol is now active. Martinez returned to the viewport, watching as Neptune's storms continued their eternal dance. Somewhere out there, the hegemony fleet approached, confident in their superiority, unaware they were sailing into the most elaborate trap ever created by human hands. Dr. Anderson, she called out. What are they saying to each other? Anderson's team had fully penetrated the alien communications by now. Standard conquest chatter, ma'am. There? He paused, chuckling. They're discussing how to phrase their demands for our surrender. Apparently, they want to sound appropriately impressive to the primitive species. Let them come, Martinez said softly, her reflection ghostly in the reinforced viewport. Let them come with their superior technology and their contempt. We've spent 3 generations preparing for this moment. We've hidden our true strength, varied our advances, and turned our entire solar system into a weapon. She turned to face her crew, her voice carrying the weight of command. Humanity isn't the prey they think we are. And Neptune. Neptune is no longer just a gas giant. It's about to become a graveyard for an empire's ambitions. Initialize final defense preparations, she ordered. But remember, we maintain our charade until they cross the Karen line. Let them think us weak. Let them think us primitive. In 3 hours, we'll show them exactly what humanity is capable of." Commander Jack Reynolds scratched his graying beard as he watched his mining crew perform their well-rehearsed routine on Sierra 7's external platforms. Through the command deck's viewport, workers in outdated environmental suits clumsily maneuvered chunks of ice and mineral deposits, a performance meant specifically for hegemony eyes. Incoming transmission from the alien fleet, Lieutenant Kelly Parker announced from her communications station. "They're broadcasting on what they think is our most advanced frequency." Reynolds straightened his worn jacket, deliberately designed to look like something from a struggling frontier operation. "Put them through. Remember, we're just simple ice miners who barely understand their own equipment." The holoscreen flickered to life, revealing a hegemony officer whose chitinous features betrayed no hint of the contempt their intercepted communications had revealed. The alien spoke in carefully measured tones, its translation matrix converting its clicks and whistles into simplified English. "Primitive human installation." The alien began. "Your presence is noted. Maintain current operations. Resistance to the hegemony's authority will result in immediate termination." Reynolds put on his best performance of a startled colonist. "We're just mining ice here. We don't want any trouble." He let his voice quaver slightly. "We'll cooperate fully." The transmission cut off abruptly. Reynolds' facade dropped immediately, replaced by the sharp focus of a veteran fleet commander. Status of the Shadow Drive. Chief Engineer Marcus Thompson emerged from behind a hidden panel, his clean-pressed uniform a stark contrast to the deliberately shabby exterior of the station. "Quantum manifolds are primed. Sir, the whole mining station shell is ready to dissolve on your command." "Hostile vessels maintaining their approach vector," Parker reported, her hands dancing over real controls hidden beneath holographic decoys. "They're completely buying the primitive tech signature we're broadcasting." Reynolds activated his neural link, connecting to the true heart of Sierra 7. Beneath its rough exterior, the station housed humanity's first Phantom-class dreadnought, a warship that could bend both light and gravity around itself. The decades of maintaining this facade, the fake mining operations, the clumsy workers, the outdated equipment, were about to pay off. "Message from Fleet Admiral Martinez," Parker announced. "The hegemony has crossed the Charon line. Authorization code. Lazarus Rising." Reynolds smiled. "About damn time." "Engineering, initiate Shadow Protocol. Tactical, power up all systems but maintain stealth configuration. Let's show them what a primitive mining station can really do." The transformation was breathtaking. The outer shell of Sierra 7 began to dissolve like mercury, the nanomaterial flowing and reshaping itself. Hidden weapon ports emerged from seemingly solid walls. Point defense arrays materialized from what had appeared to be crude ice storage containers. The entire station shifted, panels sliding and reorganizing, revealing the sleek, deadly form of the HNS Nightmare. "All systems online," Thompson reported with pride. "Quantum cores at full power. Temporal shields active. Ghost Tech stealth systems engage." Through the now crystalline viewport, Reynolds watched as similar transformations took place across Neptune's orbital space. Dozens of primitive installations shed their disguises, revealing humanity's true technological might. Mining platforms became artillery platforms. Research stations transformed into carrier ships. Maintenance drones shifted into swarms of combat units. Multiple hegemony vessels adjusting course, Parker reported, excitement creeping into her voice. They're registering confusion. Now shock. Now panic. 10 years, Reynolds said quietly, watching the alien ship scrambling to respond. 10 years I played the part of a simple mining commander. My children grew up speaking in code, living double lives. Every crew member here sacrificed their true potential to maintain this deception. He straightened his shoulders. Signal the fleet. It's time to show the hegemony why you don't judge a book by its cover. The HNS Nightmare's engines ignited, quantum drives pushing the massive vessel forward with impossible grace. Across Neptune's orbit, humanity's hidden fleet emerged from its chrysalis, weapons charged and crews ready. "Send one last message to the hegemony fleet," Reynolds ordered, his voice carrying the weight of a decade's preparation. "Tell them, now you see us for what we really are. The question is, are you ready for what comes next?" Dr. Emily Blackwood's fingers trembled slightly as she initiated Project Poseidon's final sequence. Deep within Neptune's atmosphere, her facility, nicknamed the Trench, housed the most ambitious gravitational manipulation system ever conceived. Through reinforced windows designed to withstand pressures that would crush conventional battleships, she watched the dance of quantum gravity wells her team had spent years positioning. "Hegemony fleet entering the kill zone," announced Captain Robert Walsh from his tactical station. "All 5 vessels maintaining their original attack formation. They haven't detected the gravity matrix." Blackwood nodded, her eyes fixed on the holographic display showing Neptune's complex gravitational topology. Thousands of microscopic singularity generators orbited the planet in seemingly random patterns, appearing to alien sensors as nothing more than natural gravitational anomalies. "Begin primary sequence," she ordered. "Activate the resonance cascade." The first signs of the trap were subtle. The hegemony ship's formation began to drift slightly, their advanced engines compensating for what their navigators likely assumed were normal gravitational eddies. But Blackwood had spent a decade studying how Neptune's unique magnetic field could be weaponized, and she hadn't wasted a single day. "They're transmitting signals about minor navigational errors," Lieutenant James Chen reported from communications. "Still no sign they suspect anything deliberate." Blackwood allowed herself a grim smile. "Initiate second phase harmonics. Let's show them why Einstein called gravity the most subtle of forces." The quantum gravity wells began to pulse in perfect synchronization, creating interference patterns that played havoc with the fabric of space-time itself. Neptune's powerful magnetic field amplified the effect exponentially, turning the entire region into a gravitational web. Multiple hegemony vessels reporting critical drive fluctuations, Walsh announced, his voice tight with excitement. "Their artificial gravity systems are failing. They're trying to break formation, but they can't," Blackwood finished. "Every evasive maneuver will only tangle them further in our grid." Activate the magnetic resonators. Deep within Neptune's churning atmosphere, massive electromagnetic inductors roared to life. The gas giant's natural magnetic field began to twist and coalesce, guided by human technology that had been dismissed as theoretical by most of the scientific community. Through the observation window, Blackwood watched as streams of charged particles became visible, connecting the gravity wells in patterns of ethereal light. The hegemony ships were now clearly struggling, their once precise formation degrading into chaos. "Mom," Chen called out urgently, "we're detecting power spikes from their primary reactors. They're trying to force their way out using raw engine power." Blackwood's expression hardened, exactly as predicted. "Execute final phase. Show them why you don't fight physics." The gravity wells suddenly shifted frequency, transforming from a simple trap into something far more devastating. The hegemony ship's own engine output was caught in the gravitational web, feeding back into the reinforced field patterns. Their struggle to escape was only making the trap stronger. "First vessel's shields are failing," Walsh reported, reading from his tactical display. "Their hull is experiencing temporal shear from the gravitational differentials. 2 more ships showing critical stress patterns." Through the quantum-enhanced viewport, Blackwood watched as the laws of physics themselves turned against the alien fleet. Space twisted visibly around their ships, the combined effect of artificial gravity wells and Neptune's magnetic field creating conditions that no engineer could have designed for. "Send the signal to Fleet Admiral Martinez," Blackwood ordered. "The physics trap is fully operational. They're locked in our web." She turned to her team, pride evident in her voice. 10 years ago, they called this impossible, said we couldn't weaponize a gas giant's magnetic field. said quantum gravity manipulation was centuries beyond our capability. She gestured to the struggling alien ships. I want you all to remember this moment. This is what happens when humanity stops playing by everyone else's rules. The hegemony vessels were now completely immobilized, caught in a web of humanity's most advanced physics applications. Their once mighty engines, straining against forces they were never designed to handle, only hastened their own entrapment. Begin Phase 4, Blackwood commanded. Let's show the galaxy that humanity doesn't just understand the laws of physics. We've learned to bend them to our will. Major Tom Cooper's heart raced as he performed final checks on his Tempest-class interceptor, buried deep within Neptune's turbulent atmosphere. Around him, the elite Storm Riders squadron waited in their launch bays, their ships disguised as atmospheric monitoring probes to any watching eyes above. All pilots, comms check, Cooper commanded, his voice carrying through the quantum-encrypted channel. Sound off by number. Storm 2, ready. Lieutenant Maria Ramirez's voice was steady, pressure compensation at optimal levels. The rest of the squadron reported in sequence. 12 of humanity's finest pilots, each chosen for their ability to dance with the impossible. Their ships weren't just designed to survive Neptune's crushing pressures and supersonic winds. They were built to harness them. Control, this is Storm Lead, Cooper reported. Squadron is ready for Operation Thunderbolt. Confirmed, Storm Lead, came the response from Lieutenant Commander Alex Foster at Neptune Deep Control. Hegemony Fleet is fully engaged with Dr. Blackwood's gravity trap. Time to show them our second surprise. Cooper allowed himself a tight smile. Storm Riders, initiate metamorphosis sequence. The transformation was spectacular. The seemingly simple atmospheric probes began to shift and flow, smart metal reconfiguring into sleek predatory forms. Wings extended, quantum field generators spooled up, and weapon ports emerged from seamless hulls. Each ship was a masterpiece of human engineering, designed to turn Neptune's hostile environment into a weapon. Storm Lead, you have priority launch clearance, Foster announced. The hegemony still hasn't detected your heat signatures against Neptune's background radiation. You're invisible until you want to be seen. Copy that. Control. Cooper's hands tightened on his neural-linked controls. Storm Riders, form up on me. We're about to make history. The launch sequence was silent but devastating. 12 ships shot upward through Neptune's layers of atmosphere, riding the powerful currents like surfers on a wave. Their quantum drives ionized the surrounding gases, creating plasma trails that mixed with the planet's natural storms. First target range in 30 seconds, Ramirez reported. Their point defense systems are fully occupied with the gravity distortions. Cooper watched his tactical display as they approached the trapped hegemony fleet from below. The alien ships were still struggling against Dr. Blackwood's physics trap, their advanced sensors blind to the threat rising from Neptune's depths. Remember your training, Cooper transmitted to his squadron. These ships were built to do the impossible. Time to earn our call sign. The Storm Riders erupted from Neptune's upper atmosphere like avenging angels, their ships suddenly visible as they shed their stealth fields. The hegemony fleet, already stressed by gravitational forces, now faced an attack from what they had dismissed as an uninhabitable zone. Weapons free, Cooper ordered. Execute attack pattern Poseidon. The squadron split into predetermined groups, their ships moving with impossible agility. They dove through gravitational eddies that would have torn conventional craft apart, using the very forces trapping the hegemony ships to enhance their maneuverability. Storm 5, Splash 1, came an excited call. Their shields couldn't handle the combined stress. Cooper rolled his interceptor through a particularly dense gravity well, using its pull to slingshot around a hegemony cruiser. His targeting computer painted weak points across the alien vessel's hull, stress fractures from their futile struggle against the physics trap. All units, priority targets marked, he transmitted. Hit them where they're already breaking. The Storm Riders struck with surgical precision, their quantum-tipped missiles exploiting the structural weaknesses caused by the gravitational assault. Each hit was calculated to multiply the stress already tearing at the alien ships. "Storm Lead. Control," Foster's voice crackled through the comm. "Admiral Martins sends her compliments. The Hegemony fleet is transmitting emergency signals on all frequencies. They're starting to realize this wasn't the simple conquest they expected." Cooper watched as another alien vessel's shields failed catastrophically. "Acknowledge Admiral Martinez. Tell her the Storm Riders are just getting warmed up." He switched to squadron frequency. "All units, begin attack pattern Delta. Let's show them why we spent 3 years training in Neptune's storms." The squadron reformed, their ships dancing through the gravity-twisted space around the trapped Hegemony fleet. They were humanity's secret sword, forged in the most hostile environment in the solar system, and they were about to demonstrate exactly why Earth's children were not to be underestimated. Lieutenant Amanda Torres sat in the heart of Luna Base Echo's quantum communications hub, surrounded by holographic displays showing the intricate web of quantum-entangled particles her team had spent years seeding throughout the solar system. What the Hegemony saw as random background noise was actually humanity's most sophisticated communications network. "Multiple distress calls detected from the enemy fleet," reported Specialist Ryan Carter, his fingers flying across his haptic interface. "They're trying to reach their command structure using their primary quantum array." Torres allowed herself a predatory smile. "Time to show them why they call us the Ghost Protocol Team. Initiate signal storm." The quantum communication screens erupted with activity as her team launched their coordinated attack. Years of intercepting and analyzing Hegemony transmissions had given them intimate knowledge of alien communication protocols. Now that knowledge would become a weapon. "Deploying quantum interference patterns," announced Dr. Lisa Freeman from her station. "Targeting their primary frequency bands. They won't even know we're in their systems until it's too late." Torres watched as the first phase of their attack took hold. The Hegemony's supposedly unbreakable quantum communications began to degrade, their signals becoming entangled with the web of quantum particles humanity had positioned throughout the solar system. "Ma'am," Carter called out urgently. "They're attempting to switch to their backup channels. Multiple encryption changes detected." "Just as expected," Torres replied, activating her neural interface. The quantum network's data flooded her enhanced consciousness. "Execute Protocol Babel. Let's see how they handle fighting blind and deaf." The Ghost Protocol team's true mastery became apparent as they systematically dismantled the Hegemony's communication capabilities. Each alien attempt to establish new channels was met with precisely calculated interference. Their quantum encryption, thought to be unbreakable, was turned against them through the carefully positioned quantum entanglement nodes. "First ship has lost all external communications," Freeman reported with satisfaction. "Their internal networks are starting to show cascade failures." Torres nodded, watching the tactical display as the Hegemony fleet's coordinated defense began to crumble. Without their quantum communications, their sophisticated battle networks were falling apart. "New transmission detected," Carter announced. "They're attempting to use primitive radio signals as a backup." "Interesting choice," Torres mused. "But we own that spectrum too. Initiate Echo Protocol." The Ghost Protocol team's next attack was even more insidious. Instead of simply blocking the radio transmissions, they began feeding false data into the Hegemony's backup communications. Ships received phantom orders, sensor ghosts appeared and disappeared, and coordination between vessels became impossible. Multiple ships reporting conflicting tactical data, Freeman said, reading from her displays. "Their command structure is breaking down. They can't tell what's real anymore." Torres stood, walking to the central holographic display. It showed the Hegemony fleet in disarray, their once precise formation now chaos as ships received contradictory information from their own systems. "Send confirmation to Admiral Martinez," she ordered. "The silent strike is complete. The Hegemony fleet is now operating in the dark. They're all yours, Storm Riders. Through quantum-linked cameras, she watched as the Storm Riders squadron took advantage of the communications blackout, their attacks now completely unexpected by the confused and isolated alien ships. "Incoming transmission from the Admiral," Carter reported. She says, "Well done, Ghost Protocol. The galaxy's greatest warriors are useless without their ability to coordinate." Torres turned to her team, pride evident in her expression. 3 years we spent building this quantum web. 3 years of hiding our true capabilities, pretending we barely understood basic radio waves while we seeded the solar system with quantum entanglement nodes. She gestured to the displays showing the crumbling hegemony command structure. "This is why we sacrifice. This is why we hide. Because when humanity strikes, we strike to win." The quantum communications hub hummed with activity as her team continued to maintain their invisible siege, ensuring that humanity's most sophisticated electronic warfare campaign remained undetected even as it tore apart the enemy's ability to fight as a coordinated force. "Keep monitoring all frequencies," Torres commanded. "The hegemony is about to learn that in the age of quantum warfare, signals intelligence isn't just about listening. It's about controlling the very fabric of communication itself." Colonel David Wright adjusted his deliberately outdated military uniform as he prepared to face the hegemony commander. The negotiation chamber aboard Space Station Liberty had been carefully staged to appear primitive by alien standards, all part of humanity's final deception. "They're arriving now, sir," Lieutenant Hannah Morgan reported from her monitoring station. "Hegemony shuttle approaching Docking Bay 3. Their biosigns indicate extreme agitation." Wright nodded, checking his neural implant's language matrix one final time. "Keep our true defensive capabilities dark. Let them think they're stepping into a barely functional human facility." The doors slid open with an intentionally crude hydraulic hiss. 3 hegemony officials entered, their chitinous armor bearing the scars of recent battle. The lead alien, Commander Zexthal, moved with the stiff precision of one unused to defeat. "You will explain," Zexthal demanded in the hegemony's formal diplomatic dialect, mandibles clicking in barely contained rage. "How does a pre-FTL species possess such weapons?" Wright allowed himself a small smile, then responded in perfect high hegemony speech patterns, including subtle subchannel frequencies that only their species could normally produce. The aliens physically recoiled. "Perhaps," Wright said, maintaining the complex harmonics, "you should ask how a pre-FTL species learned to speak your most sacred tongue with such precision." The second alien, a science director based on its markings, chittered in alarm. "Impossible. The harmonics require specialized vocal structures, unless..." Its compound eyes widened. "Unless everything we scanned was a lie." "Please be seated." Wright gestured to the deliberately basic-looking chairs. As the aliens sat, hidden scanners analyzed every aspect of their biology, adding to humanity's already extensive database. "I believe we need to discuss the terms of your fleet's surrender." Zexthal's mandibles twitched, a sign of extreme distress that Wright had learned from years studying intercepted hegemony communications. "You speak as if you have the upper hand, human. I speak as one who has spent 15 years studying your species' every cultural nuance," Wright replied, then deliberately performed the subtle antenna-touching gesture that, in hegemony culture, indicated knowledge of a devastating secret. "For instance, I know the real reason your empire expanded into this sector of space." The third alien, a military strategist, began emanating stress pheromones. Wright's hidden sensors detected the chemical change instantly, adjusting the room's atmospheric processors to preserve the evidence. "You're bluffing," Zexthal declared, but there was uncertainty in its harmonics. Wright leaned forward, switching to an even more ancient dialect of the hegemony language, one that, according to their own records, only the highest council members should know. "Shall we discuss the Proxima incident, or perhaps the real findings of your survey ships regarding Earth's early history?" The science director's exoskeleton paled visibly. "How could they know about "We know everything," Wright interrupted, his voice carrying harmonics that conveyed absolute authority in hegemony culture. "Every transmission, every secret report, every hidden directive. While you watched our primitive ships and basic stations, we were watching you. Learning. Preparing." He touched a simple control, and the room's appearance shifted. The crude human furnishings dissolved, revealing a highly advanced chamber filled with technology that even the hegemony would consider theoretical. The aliens found themselves seated in gravity-suspended chairs, surrounded by quantum holographic displays showing their empire's most classified information. "Now," Wright continued, his voice gentle but implacable, "shall we discuss the real terms of surrender, including, perhaps, why your empire is so interested in Earth's particular location in space?" Zexthal's composure finally broke. You're not what you appear to be. None of this is what it appears to be." "No," Wright agreed, activating a hologram showing the full extent of humanity's hidden fleet. "We're not. Humanity learned long ago that the best way to survive is to be underestimated. You came expecting to find primitive savages. Instead, you found equals who have spent generations preparing for this moment." The colonel stood, his outdated uniform shimming and transforming into a high-tech diplomatic suit. "The question now is simple. Do we negotiate as civilized species, or do we continue this demonstration of humanity's capabilities?" The three aliens exchanged glances, their cultural conditioning warring with their current reality. Finally, Zexthal spoke, its harmonics carrying the formal tones of submission. "We will negotiate, human. But know this, you have changed everything." Wright smiled. That, Commander, was precisely the point. General Sarah Thompson strode through the captured hegemony flagship's corridors, her quantum-enhanced uniform adapting to the alien environment's different atmospheric pressure and gravity. Behind her, a team of human scientists eagerly examined every inch of the vessel, though their excitement was tempered by knowing smiles. Most of the technology was already familiar to them. "Ma'am," Captain Brian Foster reported, falling into step beside her. "We've finished our preliminary analysis of their primary systems. Just as our intelligence suggested, their quantum drive technology is at least a generation behind our latest developments." Thompson nodded, running her hand along a nearby wall. The metal seemed to shimmer beneath her touch as her nano-enhanced glove interfaced with the alien systems. "How are our guests handling the revelation?" "The hegemony crew is struggling with the reality of the situation," Foster replied, checking his neural feed, "especially after Dr. Rodriguez demonstrated our temporal shielding technology. Apparently, they thought that was theoretically impossible." They reached the flagship's command center, where a team of human technicians had already integrated their own systems into the alien interfaces. Holographic displays showed the full extent of humanity's hidden fleet now surrounding the defeated hegemony forces. "Their tactical officer nearly had a breakdown when we revealed the true nature of the Jupiter refineries," Foster added with a slight grin. Finding out that what they thought were primitive gas mining operations were actually quantum singularity forges. Well, it challenged their worldview. Thompson stopped before the captain's platform, where the hegemony flag still defiantly displayed its empire's colors. With deliberate ceremony, she reached up and removed it. "Worldviews should be challenged," she said quietly. "That's how we evolved, how we survived. While other species raced to show off their technological advancement, humanity learned the value of patience, of preparation." A junior officer approached with a tablet showing real-time updates from across the solar system. Humanity's hidden installations were now fully revealed. Orbital weapons platforms emerging from asteroid disguises, stealth fleets rising from gas giant atmospheres, quantum communication arrays shimmering into visibility around every planet. "Latest report from Luna Base," the officer reported. "The last hegemony encryption protocols have been broken. We now have access to their entire strategic database. It's exactly what we suspected. Earth wasn't chosen at random for conquest." Thompson's expression hardened. "Show me." The officer projected a classified hegemony star chart. Earth's position was marked with dozens of overlapping symbols and annotations in the alien script. They knew, Thompson said, more to herself than her officers. They knew what this region of space really means, why our solar system is unique. "General," Foster interjected, "incoming transmission from the Hegemony High Command. They're requesting direct communication with Earth's leadership." Thompson smiled grimly. "Of course they are. Now that they know we've accessed their databases, now that they realize we understand the true value of Earth's position in space, they're finally ready to talk as equals." She turned to face her staff, her voice carrying the weight of generations of preparation. "Humanity didn't just hide our technological advancement. We hid our knowledge. While they thought we were barely reaching for the stars, we were unraveling the greatest secrets of the galaxy." The command center hummed with activity as more reports flooded in. Across the solar system, humanity's true face was revealing itself. Quantum computers more advanced than anything the hegemony possessed. Weapons that could manipulate the fabric of space-time. Ships that could dance through gravitational fields like leaves in the wind. "Send word to Admiral Martinez," Thompson ordered. "Operation Looking Glass is now active. It's time to show the galaxy not just what humanity is, but what we know." She stepped onto the captain's platform, now displaying Earth's colors through a quantum holographic interface. The hegemony came here thinking they would find a primitive species ready for conquest. Instead, they found humanity at its finest, patient, prepared, and far more dangerous than they could have imagined. A technician called out from his station. "General, multiple quantum signatures detected at the edge of the system. More hegemony ships incoming." Thompson's smile turned predatory. "Perfect. Let them come. It's time to demonstrate that humanity hasn't just been hiding our strength. We've been hiding our destiny." President James Walker stood at the podium in the newly revealed Orbital Command Center, the Earth floating majestically behind him through windows that were far more than simple transparent barriers. The assembled global media watched in awe as decades of secrecy fell away, revealing the true extent of humanity's advancement. "My fellow citizens of Earth," he began, his voice carrying to billions of viewers worldwide. "Today we share with you a truth 3 generations in the making. A truth protected by millions of dedicated individuals who lived double lives, who sacrificed personal glory for collective survival." Holographic displays materialized around him, showing facilities across the solar system shedding their primitive disguises. The Mars colonies revealed themselves to be vast military complexes. The asteroid mining operations transformed into quantum manufacturing centers. The Jupiter research stations emerged as temporal observation posts. 75 years ago, Walker continued, our quantum sensors detected the first signs of the hegemony's expansion. We faced a choice: reveal our true capabilities and fight them then, or prepare. We chose patience. We chose deception. We chose to turn our entire solar system into the most elaborate trap in galactic history. Lieutenant Commander Kate Maxwell, standing at her station behind the president, monitored the incoming data streams. The hegemony reinforcement fleet had arrived at the system's edge, only to find themselves surrounded by humanity's hidden defensive grid, weapons platforms emerging from quantum shadows where they'd waited for decades. But the Neptune defense action was more than a military victory, Walker announced, his voice growing stronger. It was the moment humanity chose to reveal not just our technological advancement, but our understanding of why the hegemony sought Earth so desperately. The displays shifted, showing complex astronomical data. Earth's position in the galaxy, marked by overlapping gravitational fields and quantum resonance patterns that the public had never seen before. Our world sits at a cosmic crossroads, Walker explained. A nexus point where the very fabric of space-time holds unique properties. The hegemony didn't come here to simply conquer another primitive species. They came seeking the key to powers they barely understand. Powers we mastered while pretending to struggle with basic fusion technology. From her station, Maxwell watched as more data poured in. The hegemony reinforcement fleet was standing down, their sensors finally detecting the full extent of humanity's defensive capabilities. The trap wasn't just military, it was strategic, technological, and scientific. To those who spent their lives maintaining our deception, Walker continued, "Your sacrifices are finally acknowledged. To the children who grew up never able to speak of their parents' true work, your silence helped save our species. To the scientists who watched others take credit for lesser discoveries, while their true breakthroughs remained hidden, your patience has been vindicated." The president paused, allowing the magnitude of the revelation to sink in. Behind him, Earth seemed to glow with new significance as humanity's true capabilities came to light. And to the galaxy at large, his voice took on an edge of steel. "Know this, humanity will no longer hide. We emerge onto the galactic stage, not as conquerors, not as victims, but as guardians of something far more precious than empire, the very principles of innovation, determination, and the indomitable spirit of human ingenuity." Maxwell's console lit up with incoming transmissions, not just from the hegemony now, but from a dozen other spacefaring civilizations. Earth's revelation was sending shockwaves through the galactic community. "The Neptune defense action marks the end of humanity's age of hiding," Walker declared. "But it also marks a beginning. We now stand revealed as we truly are. A species that turned patience into power, deception into strength, and our solar system's unique position in space into humanity's greatest advantage." He looked directly into the cameras, his expression both proud and determined. "To our children who will grow up in this new era, remember how we achieved this moment, not through blind aggression or reckless revelation, but through careful preparation, unwavering dedication, and the collective sacrifice of generations who understood that sometimes the greatest power lies not in showing your strength." He smiled, looking up at the stars now visible through the quantum-enhanced viewport, but in choosing the perfect moment to reveal it. "Welcome, humanity, to your true place in the cosmos."